And guys, I'm at this steam boiler here. The low water cutoff is not turning the feeder on. The water feeder. So I got it off. I drank the boiler around down. There's a probe in here I gotta take out and clean. I should be getting voltage between common and that red wire to kick the feeder on, and I'm not getting it. There's a probe in there that needs to be cleaned. I want to take it apart and see if I can clean it. I'll take that probe out, see if I can clean it. See if they'll come off, I hope. That steam, it might not want to come off here. It's coming off. There it goes. That's what senses the water level. If it doesn't sense it, it's not gonna work. Let's see what it looks like. Looks okay. Supposed to be cleaned once a year, I see. It is grounded. Alright guys, what I found was this guy had this little piece of cardboard in there. Pull that cardboard out and the thing shuts off. And obviously, I gotta get another one of these low water cutoffs. First of all, what happens when the water drains down that sensor, I should be getting 24 volts from this leg here and this common up to these two probes, and it's not happening on the low water feeder. So we're gonna, guy's been feeding it manually. There's a little bypass here. Feed it manually, or you could do it with this. I gotta call into my supply. He was gonna get me another one of these low water cutoffs. What happens when the water goes so low? It shuts the burner off, and then it should send voltage from the sensor up to that feeder to feed it. In 10 seconds, it feeds automatically. You don't have it in stock, so gonna order me one. I'll get that, come back and put it in, and we'll try it again. Obviously, the release doesn't. You shouldn't have a matchbook in there. Crazy. Look at that, 4-inch. Two and a half inch bypass. It's a big boiler. Return vent. No unit. And that's the only wiring diagram they had. I gotta follow that, so I gotta get another one of these low water feeders. Low water cutoff, and then we'll try it again. It's a little manual feeder right here. Put some water in there. The low water does work. I did check it. It does shut off, so the guy's keeping an eye on it. Could use this bypass here too. Fill it either way. This feeds it slower. We'll switch. Been running for a while, so I won't put too much in it because it will flood back when it comes back. So that's good right there. Been running for about 20 minutes. Alright, so I got my water level where I want to put it right here. This is the only way I could get this thing to work. Like I said, this controller is no longer available. It's 2 weeks down the road, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain it down, and as soon as it shuts off, I'm going to shut that ball valve off. I'm going to open this. As soon as the boiler shuts off on low water, I'm going to shut that ball valve off, and then it'll fill on its own. But by me coming through the common over here, through the vent damper, this common shuts off when the thermostat drops out. There's only one zone on this, and then that solved that problem. This thing will feed automatically. It's not the best way to wire it, but that's the only way I could get it done. If not, when this gets disconnected, that pole gets energized. We don't want that. Water level's dropping. As soon as it kicks off, I'll shut that ball valve off. It's my drain hose. Alright, we're off. I got a little delay and this thing will kick on and start feeding water in. Fill the boiler back up. Like I said, I had to rework that wiring, all that wiring, trace everything out, find out what goes where, and seeing what should have went where, and spent a little bit of time playing around with it. When I first came here, the guy's been feeding it up manually since he bought the house. Alright, it's starting to feed now. Guy had to do it manually. There is a wiring diagram here, how to wire it. Your thermostat here, you got your pressure switch, you got your transformer here. This is the hot leg, and that's the common. When I came here, he had the hot on this side and the common on this side. He had it all switched. Right, she's firing back up. That water level should come up and shut off somewhere around here. If it don't, I could put it on 5 gallons, but it should be good around 4. So what's going to happen is this boiler's going to steam up. This water is going to, basically come down, come down, come down, come down. The boiler will shut off. The automatic feeder will kick on and refill the boiler. That's how a steam boiler works. An old damper, definitely an old damper. This is my second trip back to this job. I was trying to get one of these controls. I ended up getting another control because he's got a little matchbox in there holding it pulled in. The guy at the supply house told me they no longer make this control, and I brought another control, but it's not going to work. So seeing that this one's working, I'll probably have to order that other one. It's 2 weeks out. We're getting up there pretty close to where we want to be. If you needed 5 gallons, you just hit that other little spill switch, take the 4 out and hit the 5. And there's the delay time there on the left side. Where it's gonna have to stay. That's perfect right there. It's just shut off. I just heard it shut off. Alright, I'm going to disconnect the thermostat. I just jumped it out here so I don't have to play with it upstairs. And I shouldn't have voltage. Well, I don't have voltage here because my common's dropped out. Now if I had my common over here like he had it wired, that's why he had it all wired differently, because it was feeding. When this thing was shut off, it would send voltage up there and start feeding the feeder automatically. So whatever, the guys wired it however they wired it, and they were feeding it manually. We don't want that. We want it to feed automatically. So I gotta do what I gotta do, and that's what I ended up doing. Rewired this, put my hot off of here, and my common off, the common coming back from the fan damper. And that's only going to get operated when the T-stack gets energized. So the only time the automatic feeder will work is when the thermostat gets energized. But we don't. That's all we really need it to do. So it's working. I went through like 3-4 tests, and it's working fine. So give this guy a bill. And this thing is working, but a little scary. So we got 24 volts that feeds one part of this relay, and then the other leg comes up through the low water cutoff to feed it. So this thing is going to be off until it calls for heating, and then this thing will energize. That's the only way we get it to work. Alright guys, water level's where I want it. So cycling on and off to the low water cutoff. It's energizing the water feeder and feeding in the proper amount of water set by the drop spill switches there. So it's ready to rock and roll. Oh, Bryant.